Good day, my name is Nhlanhla Qwabe. I'm the founder and director of Muntamo HR Services. Our vision is to provide simple yet effective HR solutions to our clients. I'd like to speak about building resilience during a crisis. We're currently going through a very unprecedented crisis globally and locally in South Africa. There is no doubt that the future is no longer going to be what we had thought it would be. The plans we had made are going to change, and some of them have already changed. Economies of the world are bleeding, companies are closing down, and they are likely to retrench employees and take drastic measures to arrest the impact of COVID-19. I believe that there is hope. The human spirit has got an amazing strength and tenacity to survive through storms and hardships. We will remember that in December 1999, on the 31st, many people thought the world would come to an end because of Y2K, or what was also known as the Millennium Bug. People thought that computers will crash, resulting in hospitals collapsing, the financial system collapsing, and even planes falling from the sky. We know people also withdrew money or their investments from banks because they thought their money will disappear when the computers crash. But we were able to overcome that. And today we have even more sophisticated computers and technologies. So I believe that even with the crisis that we're currently facing, we're going to make it through. But it will take collective effort and also resilience from each and every one of us to go through this storm. I read a report the other day from a company or an organization called Board of Innovation, where they're talking about 10 shifts that are likely to take place as a result of COVID-19. I'd like to go through some of them because I believe that they set the scene and context to what I'm going to talk about. They say that one of the shifts that are going to take place is more anxiety and loneliness and depression. As people get laid off from work or their families falling sick, they're going to be depressed and they're going to go through a lot of psychological issues. So it's very important that we do recognize that impact. There's going to be a lot of emphasis of working from home. I think that in many countries, this is a norm, but I think that there are countries where working from home is still a taboo. And I think that this is going to be more important. So companies will have to adjust the way they work and improve their systems and their policies to manage the whole concept of working from home. There's going to be a lot of take-out, home delivery, shopping, because people will want to spend more time at home than in public places. The other one that they speak about is limitations imposed by governments on gatherings. This is going to have an impact on a number of businesses, particularly those whose businesses rely on large gatherings, be it festivals, events, restaurants, and so forth, which means that these businesses will need to start thinking differently about how they're going to reach their consumers or customers. So all these shifts are quite telling, and they really require all of us as companies, employees, but as individuals to start thinking differently, because there's going to be a lot of shifts as a result of COVID-19. Now, I've chosen to define resilience as the ability to mentally and emotionally advance despite adversity or a crisis. I think what I would like to emphasize is the combination of the mental strength as well as the emotional strength that is required to be resilient. So it's not only your emotions that need to be intact and in tune, but also mentally you need to gain and develop the mental strength to be able to go through a crisis or a difficult time such as the one that you're going through now. I'd like to talk about 6 skills that I believe will assist any person that seeks to build their resilience during this difficult time. First of all, I'd like to talk about purpose. Purpose is about vision. It's about having a reason to live and exist. I often say that if you have nothing to live for, you have nothing to fight for in life. So people that are resilient, they have something that they look forward to. There's something that they believe they need to achieve. So it's going to be very important that we all create the future in our minds that we want to achieve, even through these difficult times. This could be about the health and safety of your family. You might want to take steps to ensure that your family is safe and healthy. It might be about the financial sustainability of your family. The question really that arises, and that's very important to ask, is, what is it that you're doing now to start planning for that sustainability for your family? It is a fact that a lot of us will require to change a lot of things and make a lot of adjustments so that financially we're able to sustain ourselves and families beyond COVID-19. So really, the first skill is about being able to have that vision and a sense of purpose of what you'd want to achieve for yourself, your family, and those that are dear to you post COVID-19. The second skill is around one's emotions. We do know that, as we were reading the newspapers, in the media, social media, and so forth, that a lot has been said about COVID-19, people dying, and so forth. So all these things have the potential of creating anxiety and fear for all of us. I think what is important is not to deny the fact that we are all concerned, and there'll be an element of fear about what will happen to us. What is important is to keep these emotions in check so that they don't drive you to behave in a manner that will lead you to be despondent and not to want to do anything because you think maybe the world is coming to an end. So it's very important to accept that these emotions are normal, but we need to keep them in check. The third component is about thoughts. The mind has a very critical role to play in resilience. What you think is very important. As they say, you are what you think. You are what you think. So it's very important that one, you accept that there are things during this time that are beyond your control. So rather focus on the things that you can influence and alter to make sure that you survive through these difficult times. Be it your financial situation, be it the safety of your family, be it your job, or if you're an entrepreneur, be it your business. So it's very important that you focus on the things that you can change and influence. And it's important to focus on facts and not be driven by emotions. The fourth skill is around one's attitude. And here I'm talking about the attitude of persistence and not giving up, no matter what. An example that I'd like to use here is Matiba. We know that he was in prison for 27 years, but because he had a vision of a non-racial and democratic South Africa, he was prepared to go through the pain and the difficulties during those 27 years, and and he achieved it. But it did not come easy. I'm sure that there was a lot of sweat and pain in those 27 years. But through persistence and the attitude that is influenced by looking ahead and the purpose and vision, he was able to achieve what he wanted to achieve. The fifth skill that is critical is networks. It's very important that during this time you surround yourself with people that are positive. If you want to be resilient, you do not need toxic people or negative people around you. It's very important that you surround yourself with people that will lift you up when you're feeling down, because when you go through a crisis, you will fall sometimes. And you do need people that will talk sense and positive words to you when you are down. But the other aspect is around social media and the media at large. During this time, it's very important to limit your exposure to the media as well as social network. It is important to stay informed, and I think we should do that. But we do know that there are also fake news. There's also fake news and negativity that gets shared in social media and so forth. And what you do not want is to get yourself contaminated with negative news, because that will create fear and anxiety, and you're not going to be resilient, or you won't be able to pull through during this difficult time. You'll be defeated before you even start. I think that teamwork and support for people that you work with, or that are in your surroundings, be it the community where you reside, is going to be very important. We need each other. We're going to need one another during this time. So where you have the ability to lend a hand and support others, please do, because we're going to need one another during this time. The last skill is around wellness. It's very important that you maintain proper nutrition, sleep, and exercise if you really want to be resilient. The reality is that you are going to need the body that's carrying you now to pull through. And if you neglect your body and not take care of it, you're not going to be able to achieve even the things that you desire or wish to achieve. So it's very important that you keep yourself active and healthy. It's very important to also follow the guidelines and regulations that our authorities have given us, to wash our hands, keep a social distance, and also stay at home, because these are being said and given to us for our safety as a nation. So in closing, I'd like to say that we are hopeful, and I'm personally optimistic that the future is bright. We will pull through. We need to keep our emotions and minds intact and focused, and we're going to make it. I would like to close with a quote by Yasmin Mogahed, which I picked up through my reading about resilience. And she says, resilience means you experience, you feel, you fail, you hurt, you fall, but you keep going on. And for me, that's really the attitude that we need as a nation, to continue going on and standing tall even during these difficult times. Thank you very much. May God bless you and keep you safe. Thank you.